I got to tell you, like, I'm standing like a little bit, standing like down the street from a woman whose life was turned upside down by hacking you did. She's changed careers. She don't.
Look, I can't do that right now. I'm not ready for that.
I know. You might not be,
I,
but she wasn't ready.
yeah, I get what you're saying.
Can I just ask you one question? This is just one question. I mean, I'm trying to wrap my head around a lot of this, but when it comes down to it, just why?
I was in a bad place, just at a rehab. I said no for about 8 months, and yeah, I got fired from my job for drinking.
The first time you hacked into a woman's Facebook or Twitter account or inbox, what went through your
And
head? What goes through your
that's,
head?
that's, that's a loaded question because I'll seem like a sociopath if I say it gave me a rush, but
So it seemed like a
obviously it's the
sociopath.
thing.
At least it's honest.
Yeah, I've been going to therapy. I've been on bipolar meds for 10 years. I mean, I'm trying. I mean, it's no coincidence. Every time I did that, I was off my meds. And again, it sounds like a legal maneuver, but it's not. It's the truth.
And why women?
Why, what?
Why target women?
Oh, I wasn't, it's what I got paid to do. It wasn't my preference.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're really asking, it's because that's what the market is for. I assume millions of viewers every day. I mean, that's them. Why? The ones that look at it. I did it for money. That makes me sound like a monster, but
How
I
much
was
money?
short.
Was the money
It's
that
not
good?
enough. I mean, not that anything is enough, but it's scary how quickly I would drop my morals for so little. You know, how much those women were worth. You could say it a million different ways, but I mean, it was like 500 a week, 1,000 a week, between that. Hey, I mean, it was really just my habit. Like, I needed it. I needed to drink, and I needed to, it was a really, I know nobody wants to hear that, but it was a really shitty time for me. Obviously, yeah, it's like an addiction. Like, it was always more. Like, I needed to figure out how to do this and how to go into emails and into like, but it was consuming my life. I wouldn't go to work. I would stay up for a couple days in a row. Yeah.
How easy was it for you to do this? How easy was it for you to get into
Morally or practically?
practically? Let's start with practically and then let's go morally. But practically, how easy was it for you to do this?
Like, I'm a genius or an evil hacker, I'm computer literate, like I understand computers, but it was more just social maneuvering and manipulating, lying, using people, and so I mean, it wasn't easy, but it wasn't like I'm not a genius at all. Obviously, not that smart in general.
But part of it was also about power. Because every time you break into someone's most personal vault, you gain a little bit of power, right?
Yeah, of course, that's an aspect. But again, if I say that, like, it's going to be taken out of context, and yeah, of course. Before this, especially when I was younger, I judged people a lot. I thought I was better than everybody else. I thought I was smarter than everybody else. If I would have heard about this story when I was 19, I would have no sympathy or empathy for anybody that could do those kind of things to women or anybody like that. Like, I had a great group of friends. I had a pretty good job. I was a good person. I volunteer. I'm involved with the community. And then this was my super secret, private secret, that I did, that nobody knew about. And it's not like I was talking with other hackers. I didn't even consider myself one of them. It was just my thing that I was going to take to my grave, and it sucked. And coming on the other side of it, you know, I'm more aware that, when somebody acts out like this, they must be hurting too. Again, I know that's not what you want to hear, but,
Why
somebody,
why were you hurting so much?
I don't know, it's kind of like what came first, the chicken or the egg, I guess. Like, obviously, doing those things just took my disease, whatever you want to call it, to another level. You know, the shame and guilt and disgust. But you're right, I must have been feeling something first. I mean, alcoholism runs in my family. My grandpa died. My parents were sober. You know, I didn't start drinking until I was 21 because I didn't want to do that. But just, I start drinking, I stop taking my meds, and my judgment and morals just go out the window.
Sounds like a dark place.
Yeah, of course. Like, why? I can't imagine anybody doing it in a good spot, you know? Can't look at people in the eye, you can't, you know.
Do these victims, when you're in their inbox and when you're looking at nude photos of them, you have this rush, do they feel human to you, or does it feel like...
No, it doesn't. No, I don't. It didn't. You can't. Yeah, I wouldn't be able to do it if I thought that way. When I'm in my room, lights off, door locked, drinking, like, it doesn't. You don't feel the consequences. I mean, maybe you do, but you know, it's a defense mechanism to not feel it because it doesn't feel real. And then I go straight out and party with friends and try not to think about it. And you know, I don't feel the consequences. Like, if I had to look at somebody in the face to do that, it'd be a different story. It sucks. It sucks. I don't know what you want me to say. It was really, really shitty and really sick, and I felt horrible. You know, I would get drunk and write apology emails, like journals. I mean, it was killing me.
How old are you?
26. I was 23 when I did it.
Did you have a girlfriend?
I did. Not anymore.
Did you hack her?
No. I mean, not that should be surprising, seeing as all the other lines I crossed, but that was one that I didn't get.
Can you imagine how she would have felt had her pictures been all over the internet and then duplicated, and she couldn't get a job for the rest of her life because there were naked photos every time you Googled her name?
I hear you. I would want to tear my head off. I would want to find whoever would do that for the love of my life, and I would want them to rot in a cell or worse. And I get it. I would hate me.
Do you think that maybe at the root of this, you hated you? Is that why you did it?
I don't know. I mean, I talk about that in therapy a little bit. I do now. It's just disgust in myself. It's just disgust. It's not my nature. I came from a great family. I have a great life. It's not like I came from a bad... It's just one bad decision after another, you know? And I just... You know, you have to do all these, like, you know, mental gymnastics to be able to live with yourself.
You're going to court and you'll likely serve time. What do you want to say to these victims?
Nothing I can say is going to be good enough. I mean, when I'm out, I daydream a lot, and I've thought about, like, when I get out, if I can meet some of them and look at them, and it just terrifies me. I don't know. I mean, I can't...
Do you regret it?
Of course.
If you go to jail and you do your time, do you think that you'll ever do this kind of thing again? Do you think that this is something that's an addiction that can come back?
That's a good question. I don't think prison has anything to do with it, but I don't know. I mean, I'm sober 4.5 months right now from both alcohol and that. I know how. I mean, I just left the meeting. I know how it goes, one day at a time. You know, I've talked to my sponsor a lot about how I'm going to make amends to all these women, and you know, at the bottom of it is, you know, writing letters when I'm inside. You know, I've done a couple rough drafts of what I would want to say, and scary, but.
Could you read me? Could you read me one of those?
No, I can't talk it. I'm
okay.
Really sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. Look, I appreciate you taking the time to chat.
All right. Well, have a good trip. Thank you.
Thanks. Bye-bye.